Alright guys, TouchGribbit here, back again today. Hope you're all enjoying your Monday. Today wanted to discuss something very interesting that happened on Twitter over the last 24 hours or so. We're going to talk about Ninja. We don't usually talk about Ninja on this channel, the biggest gaming entertainment streamer in the world pretty much. Gone of course over to Mixer now, living a much more comfortable streaming lifestyle than having to stream a ridiculous amount of hours on Twitch. But he talked about Call of Duty Modern Warfare on Twitter last night. The interesting thing is that the developers immediately rushed to that attention, which of course makes sense, it's Ninja, but then the pros, weigh in on this issue, especially Paddy P, and saying, like, where exactly is our support? If Ninja's getting this support and he's not even a competitive player for the game, he doesn't even play it that often as far as I imagine. I still imagine he's mostly a Fortnite streamer. Why are we not getting this attention? And also I find that very interesting from Paddy P X to say, given that they've just had this summit with the developers where, according to Scraps, there were some things being tweaked. So why would he feel the need to say this if the pros felt that actually things were being planned to fix behind the scenes? Maybe he's just joking around a little bit, but we'll get into that in the coming minutes. So like if you guys enjoy, subscribe if you are new as always. It would really help out with the YouTube algorithm to pump the video out to more people. I'd greatly appreciate it as well. So let's hop into the video here. One final comment on this Twitter crackdown. Attach says, you're reaching hard. We showed you multiple pieces of proof. We're just letting you know that you lied in your last video. Blame Truth did a video saying that Activision had forcing the pros to do these tweets. No one is triggered. Hope you make the money. So yeah, just wanted to kind of close that one off, that we talked about it briefly yesterday. Wanted to share this with you guys. I appreciate you cannot see the entire screen right here, and therefore I will share with you guys the clip on the entire screen. There was this tournament, the streamer tournament, whatever it was, a couple of days ago now, and Shroud's got an incredible 1v3, like truly ridiculous. Obviously he's playing on keyboard and mouse, which shows really why keyboard and mouse is such a more dominant aiming mechanic in terms of precision, and I'll just share with you guys this 1v3.
I want to know if he's called in this UAV.
Probably not.
Don't forget about your UAV.
Oh, it's all on the Shroud.
What? Wow.
What?
Shroud is different, dude.
Shroud is Shroud.
What?
Whoa!
What? What the hell was that?
What?
Oh my God! Tim cost them that round without
What
letting play this. He didn't call that in.
This shot?
What?
Oh my God!
What?
So pretty damn phenomenal. I'm sure a lot of you guys have seen that, but now I wanted to share with you guys this video that Instincts put on Reddit, which really shows it from Tim the Tapman's perspective. He got destroyed by Shroud in this instance, and really the differences between what it looks like on each player's screen. So a great video really that he put together there, and very interesting to look at it from that angle. Yes, these kind of things had happened in Call of Duty in the past, but that's pretty ridiculous, right? He slid a long way behind, and I believe this was maybe this wasn't a LAN tournament, so maybe it is just some server lag, which I guess I can completely understand. These things have happened in the past, but I maybe showed a clip the other day of TP getting shot super far around a wall. It just seems like something that's happening in this game, and I imagine part of it is down to the 12Hz servers that we have right now, which obviously isn't ideal. Hopefully that these things will be looked at by the developers in some better detail than they are right now, but at the end of the day, we did see in Infinite Warfare how the servers initially for custom games were at 10Hz, and then I think they put them up to 30 by a few months in, by the time that people started realizing this. Surely the technology has been here a long time, but the money invested by Activision and the money that they're bringing in from, of course, the CDL and the league, surely should mean that they can put some investment here towards improving the server quality for custom games that their professional players play on. That would be great if there's anyone listening. Clayster tweets this out. Look at us being all official. Very interesting that they actually have a proper scrim schedule, you see here, so schedule as you guys prefer prefer me to say it. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, we've got all the scrims lined up for the time slots, like 2 scrims a day. This is pretty damn cool. Who are they going to be scrimming against? This is like the entire league effectively. So I guess down the left here, which you guys should be able to see now, is I guess the team that's playing against whatever other team. Really cool to see. They also have this, which Calista describes as like a time torching. So waiting team, late team, minutes late, reason, and just to build a spreadsheet within the community of which teams are being late and time torching behind the scenes, which is really great to see. We've heard so many things over the last season or so, the Black Ops 4 season especially, people talking about how our players are always late. TJ Dashi was kind of the big one that people talked about, how OpTic Gaming last season didn't turn up on time. That was all the rave at some time last year. Maybe it didn't affect them so much for events, maybe it did, but it'd be pretty cool to actually keep a track of it. There has been talks in the past of whether are you going to fine players, how exactly, what direction are you going to take in terms of ensuring that professionals actually do turn up to work on time. At the end of the day, it is your job. If you're wasting other players and other teams' time within the league, I guess there's no strict action that you can take within the teams, no players' union or whatever, but the teams themselves can fine and punish their own players by being late, because it's, it's not very sportsmanlike, right? So really interesting. Let's go on to this then, the main topic of discussion for today. Ninja, he says the following. So it's not, what he says isn't related to competitive, it's just the attitude of the developers towards it that has got people talking. So he says, I feel like Gunfight was one of the best game modes to grace FPS in the last decade. It's really unfortunate that Activision is making so many ridiculous, unnecessary changes to the game mode. So 33,000 likes on this. First of all, the Gunfight mode is just a 2v2 mode. We've had it in previous games. I mean, CS introduced Wingman not long ago, which is basically the same thing. So, okay, fair enough. I'm not going to discredit him if he wants to say that it's one of the best game modes in FPS in the last decade. But yeah, this is what Ninja comes out and says yesterday. And David Mickner, we know this name. He comes out and talks to Ninja about it. So he says normal Gunfight will be back soon. What's going on right now is they have the OSP version, which as far as I understand is instead of the guns spawning randomly in your hands, you have to go pick them up from around the map. So you might have a deagle in front of you, but if some other guy rushes in and gets the MP5, then he's going to have the advantage. A lot of people prefer it the normal version. I kind of don't mind either. But David Mickner says normal Gunfight will be back soon. We'll use this as ammunition to keep it around the next time we run a limited time vote variation for it. So immediately David Mickner is straight in there in the replies to Ninja, something that you don't see too often with the pros in the community. Obviously makes sense, but at the end of the day, we would like more interaction there. Ninja, of course, not really involved in Call of Duty at all. OSP will return at some point as a variant limited time mode. Feel free to let it die in a burning fire with no backups of the file. So, Ninja's straight up coming out and saying, this mode is trash, give me normal Gunfight. David Mickner, it's my second baby. I prefer to play it in customs though, as you can choose what spawns where. Honestly, mental what I'm saying here. And David Mickner then comes out and says Joe Tanuta says, dude, it takes Ninja to say something. The schedule was already in place to put it back a set after OSP went in. Trust me, I prefer normal myself. I'm so in love with the game mode, to see it completely be removed and be a shell of its original version, I was mega sad. And yeah, David Mickner obviously being very interactive here, not really answering Ninja's questions in full, but still obviously a lot of interaction. And then Ninja comes back with I love you, and then David Mickner does this tweet, and we made it, Twitter. After, Birdman is on the money here, right? Ninja literally said, this part of the game is trash, I wish you would change it. And David Mickner's like, oh, come on, we made it, Twitter. Ninja, shouted me out, I guess, or whatever. This isn't an ideal. So Paddy P, of course, comes out and says, at Ninja, hey man, can you make some complaints regarding competitive balancing issues? Entire competitive community would appreciate it a ton. Much love. And of course, no replies here from David Mickner or Joe Seacott or any of the guys, which is disappointing, right? We've heard that this pro player summit, we were expecting that Activision were going to be there, but also some representatives from the developers. I was hoping that they'd get Seacott along, they'd get Mickner along, and then have a chat with the pros, and they'd be saying, okay, we want XYZ to be fixed, the spawns are an issue, the trophies don't have enough height on them, the bomb placements in Search and Destroy, what do you think about adding other game modes or maps into the rotation? What do you think about capture the flag on certain modes? These kind of discussions would be super valuable. I don't know if they're even happening right now. Seems like there is a disconnect between Activision Blizzard and Infinity Ward on this issue. And Ninja does a tweet about Gunfight and immediately gets a response from the developers. Really shows that they're not in tune with competitive play right now, and it doesn't seem like there is a clear avenue from the professionals to go behind the scenes to talk to these developers, or I'm sure they'd be taking that approach over what Paddy P P is effectively forced to do here. I do respect Paddy P Aches for coming up with this. No other professionals are talking about this, given the opportunity and given the situation. Aches comes out and says, he supports the competitive community, right? If there was going to be a players' union, people would say, maybe Aches is the guy to head it up, because at the end of the day, he gets results, and you've got to respect it. So, look, this is very interesting. Will Ninja actually, follow on this? Who knows? But at the end of the day, Ninja has played in competitive Fortnite tournaments. He understands the competitive landscape. It would be nice if there was some communication here. It's just slightly disappointing to see the way the developers interact with these guys. And then when there's interactions with pro players, a lot of the times from the developer's perspective, it's pretty negative. And I can understand that. It depends where their payroll, of course, these developers, is coming from the casual players that they're trying to make enjoy their game. We've talked about issues, skill matchmaking, etc. All of these other things that have gone on and make the game very difficult to play if you're actually a competent player, I guess. But that's not where they get their money from. The individuals that I know, the friends that play the game on a very casual basis, they enjoy it. They really like Modern Warfare, which I find mind-blowing, but at the same time, the difference between our skill levels is so drastic, sorry to say, but then, it makes a clear difference in terms of how much people are enjoying the game, and it's very off-putting to me personally. I basically have just gone back to Black Ops 4, which is tragic to say 2 months into a game's launch. But yeah, a little bit of a tangent there, but I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'd be interested to hear your thoughts down below. Just before we finish then, some discussion on the 2Ks that have gone down the last day or so. So in the European region, Moose, Denzer, Vortex, PT, and Dave won the EU one. I think that this Pepper and Khan, Mac and Nolson, Weeman, Shawnee, and Defrag is the London Academy team, as far as we understand it right now. A few other notable names here, of course. And then in the North American region, we have the UYU team, Pentagram, Zyrol, Tish, Rex, and Infamous walking away with it. Colchan's team coming up in second place. And then we've got Exotic, Nagafin, Royalty, Fellow, and Goonjar. I do want to do a video on the players that haven't made it into the league. I'm hoping that we get all the announcements for the substitutes and whatever relatively soon. But if not, I'll do a video probably ahead of time talking about the big name players that haven't made it into the league and what we can expect from them. And of course, I'll talk about that probably sometime later this week unless something drastic happens. So yeah, just one final comment here. I'll leave this linked down below. A couple of fantastic individuals have put together a sheet for all the 2K tracking. So this is Cronut CDL Intel tweets it out, but other individuals have put this together, so I'll leave them linked down below. In terms of organizations and players, this is what the pro points look like right now. If you're an academy team, you're in red because you're going to get to go along to these events anyway. I imagine you'll be funded in that sense, but teams that aren't and as part of a main team like a UAU or Aspire or whatever organization these guys are going to be a part of, they'll get funding themselves by Activision if they are high enough up in the pro points rankings. So that's a bit of explanation. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Like if you did, subscribe if you're new. As always, I would greatly appreciate it. Thanks for watching. I will see you next time.